Rollo housed a multitude of flora and fauna within his ark. This section of it was presumably used to accommodate them. I do not know. So harsh and violent was the tempest that descended upon us. Our subjects and I could only surmise that it must have capsized.
Sorry to horn in on this heart-wrenching tale. Didn't realize this hull held so much history. Not that I give a picker's ass one way or another.
Grimson.
Well, if it ain't my however many greats, Granny and La Leela. You're looking fresh-faced yourself, Adol. You know, I held out a sliver of hope that the throne would tie this up with a neat little bow. Turned out to be a bust, though, eh? Ah, don't be coy, lad. You know the only item on my agenda. Now hand over Rollo back there. What's this? Old Grand sealed consciousness away or something? Won't do much good, aside from delaying the inevitable. Soon enough, she'll brush that seal off and strew disaster out every which way.
Karja is a living memento of Iluna. You ought to be cherishing her, if anything.
Karja is in Rollo's clutches now. Doesn't end with her either. That whore son robbed Iluna of her life, and her dream along with it. How's Warg holding up?
Never stood a chance. He's off on that one-way trip to Harside in Walhalla now.
I see. Well, good on him. It's been a long 10 years of us tearing up the battlefield together.
Your nose is running.
Huh?
Drop the tough act, Grimson. Every time you try to choke back tears, they just come out in sniffles and snot instead.
Ha! Shut your gob.
Stings, don't it? Making it all the way to Britai, just to have one of our own stab us in the back. Gods blind me. Just how long do we have to keep these plundering expeditions up? Even I've had more than I can stomach.
How long? Try forever. Losing our homeland to the dire winter drove us Normans into eking by on what we can loot for over a century. Can't well think of any other way we can live this late in the game.
Why not make one for yourself then? A new homeland, that is.
Huh? Who the devil are you? Take whatever you're peddling and beat it. Can't you tell a couple of chewed-up, shat-out warriors when you see them?
My name is Iluna. Iluna Balta. I was raised here in Karnak, but my veins run with the blood of Normans. On that note, how would you like to be my shield brother?
You're what? I wrote the lass off as a nutcase. Didn't humor her one bit at the start, but she just kept coming back to see me. That day, the next, and every day after. I learned that her father had gone off to Walhalla during an expedition. For us Norman warriors, being Walhalla bound's the highest honor there is. But after losing her dear old dad, she didn't find the idea all too compelling.
What good is Walhalla if it means leaving everyone else behind in a living Nibelhell?
From then on, Iluna attempted to put a fleet of her own together. We Normans had become sea-going brigands after the dire winter forced us off our native land. So Iluna wanted to find us a place where we could live in peace, without discrimination. But try as she did to muster some allies to the cause, no one gave her so much as a sidelong glance. At first, I'd only stuck around to kill time while my wounds closed up. Back then, Karnak was packed to the brim with Norman expeditioners. Iluna played it slow and steady, calling out to every ear she could bend till, sure enough, she started gathering up a group of supporters, one member at a time. Some had grown weary of fighting, while others longed for untouched frontiers. By the time we built up Balta Island as the hub of our voyage to find a new homeland, I realized that seeing Iluna's dream through had become my own. But then... planting roots in new soil and making a life as new Normans. That was the dream she envisioned.
Grimson.
Now you know why I'm so bent on putting Rolo under the dirt. That's the least I can do to honor the woman whose ambitions outlived her. After what happened to Iluna, I could see from a Cremelia away that Karja might be targeted as her next blood relative. How the Trident didn't recognize Karja as Rolo's descendant, though, is beyond me.
Could it be? Did you purposefully foster Rolo's return in order to defeat him? Was that your reason for sending Karja out on the Sandras?
Go ahead. Call me a failure of a father. I'll just take it in stride.
How could you?
Adel, it wasn't right, the way we made our problems into yours. But it won't be much longer now. We're putting an end to this whole kit and caboodle. With Karja, you mean? Since that day, I've sunk everything I've got to give into paving my way here. The point of no return's long gone now.
Karja? She regained consciousness on her own?
What do you know? Turns out just one punch won't cut it. 2 or 3 ought to do the trick. Ah, who am I kidding? Let's go 10.
Back to your senses, are ya? Sorry to say, though, it ain't gonna change what I gotta do.
Fine by me. You've got my back, right, Shield Brother? Good answer. Time to hold up to your promise.